Alright everyone, sometimes it takes years for my predictions to pan out, but one of them literally panned out within a week, and that was that Facebook eventually, it would be discovered eventually that Facebook had sold data to firms or states that were foreign to the US. And I don't mean like mainstream firms, like, something that's based in Japan. Nintendo wanted their data, Sony. I'm not talking about that. I was talking about, something that would be, it could be a problem, as in that data could be given over to foreign governments in some way, or to criminal groups, cartels, something along those lines. It turns out that actually is true. Facebook sold data to a Chinese firm that was flagged by the FBI itself. And keep in mind, this is the FBI that apparently bends over backwards. If we look at the DOJ's apparent report into Comey and McCabe wanting immunity and all the weird shit going on right now with the top and number 2 dudes from the FBI, of yesteryear being like totally hounded and pounded up the ass, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. This is flagged by the FBI itself. It's like the FBI doesn't have any problem giving data to foreign countries. The U.S. has now, one of Trump's mistakes is supporting this, is it signed on to an international treaty to make it easier to actually share data with foreign governments that have a problem with someone they think they're a criminal and they're over here. Which, by the way, I believe breaches the Fourth Amendment and eventually will be nullified, but that's just my feeling on it. So it turns out that Zuckerberg did actually give data to foreign states. Well, I told you so. It was only a matter of time before it was revealed now that there's actually, people are actually bothering to look into this company. Okay, this monopolistic social firm, where basically 1 billion people supposedly have accounts, although it's probably half that. Most of them are, at this point, are bots or inactive, I'm sure. You have like 1 billion people putting all their personal info on here and then communicating with each other. Zuckerberg is selling that data. He's using it to target his own material. He's selling it to other companies within the U.S. Those companies apparently restricted from selling it further, so Zuckerberg can keep selling the same data to different firms over and over and keep making money off of basically having a massive dragnet on people's personal communication. That's what it's about. It's a never-ending pot of money because there will always be other firms that they haven't already sold the data to. Zuckerberg's biggest fear is that all of that data will become public. His biggest fear, this is the one thing that's going to keep Zuckerberg, I think, from ever doing what he could do and basically ruining millions of people's lives. He wants lots and lots of money, and he can sell that data repeatedly. The problem is eventually you sell that data to the wrong company and it ends up going public in some manner. Now, I can't imagine he's selling all of the data. I can't imagine anyone could afford to buy it. But they want some user data. They want some data on users, statistics. Some of it's probably general, others are probably more personal in nature. Oh yeah, this is the statistics of how many people proportionally send dick pics in the last year. So this affects your dick pic sharing firm. Or this is the number of people who you drink some sort of tea, and it's very general. There could be stuff that's more private in there, however. Of course, it's identifying information I'm sure has been sold by Zuckerberg. That prediction number 2 there, eventually it'll come out that very specific personal data was also sold. It wasn't just general statistical material. More personal stuff at some point either was sold or compromised by hackers or something. I guarantee it. That's an absolute guarantee. I wouldn't be surprised if years down the road we find out that one or more intel agencies got a hold of much of this data in order to build basically databases on people too, and that rogue agents could potentially use that, as appears to have unfortunately happened in some cases, in order to prevent people from seeking office or supporting them against some competitor or something. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. But having sold it to a foreign firm is a big no-no. It's going to be very, very difficult. Zuckerberg perjured himself. That's number 1. He lied to Congress. But he wasn't under oath, so, they don't give a fuck. It's obvious they wanted to handle him with kid gloves, but it looks like he got sloppy. It looks like despite apparently being a robot genius, Zuckerberg got just sloppy enough to get himself caught. It's going to be hard for the intel agencies in Congress to cover his ass on this. He sold data to a foreign state, essentially. A group that's basically a proxy for the Chinese government. Whoops, I gave you Americans' data, haha, and got lots and lots of won in return, I'm sure. And that's really what it's about. You've got to understand it's always about the almighty dollar. These people, the big tech firms, don't care what you post on their sites for moral reasons. They only care for money reasons. So if a sponsor gets nervous, yeah, they might crack down on material. It's not because they give a fuck. No, if they can be really, really edgy and make money off of it, they will. And that's why, new companies will come along to cater to the edgier content. It's just a matter of how long the vacuum remains unfulfilled. Alt tech is already stepping up to some degree. I think BitChute right now, by the way, is planning to release a Discuss competitor. Like literally to replace it, because Discuss looks like it's going to censor things, they're going to kick it back off the platform and replace it with something internalized that's able to be like collated out onto other social media. That would be an interesting idea. That could be ultimately, oddly enough, they could be more profitable than the original BitChute, because the original BitChute's like video hosting. This would be comment related. It could be populated to other sites. Alt tech could take off. Minds or Gab or something could start using it in their projects. These people need to pull together. They could form a behemoth if they did. Imagine all those user bases combined. That's a fucking lot of millions of people, I believe, right there. You look at, though, Facebook. It's like, is there anything that they haven't been doing that was underhanded? Is there anything underhanded that they avoided? I don't think that there is, honestly. I think Zuckerberg is a scumbag, to tell the truth, in the most literal sense. Doesn't care about user privacy. It's like he can fluff it up before Congress. We care about our users. We care about this privacy. We protect data at the utmost. We would give our lives to save their personal data. Bullshit, you're selling it to China. You're giving Chinese firms U.S. proprietary materials, and do you honestly think that this wasn't shared further than that? Like the Chinese government doesn't now have access to that info. People put literally, the most personal of information is sometimes put on Facebook. People, they probably give out their social security numbers. A third-party app wants, we need your date of birth and a thumb scan and an iris scan, and we need a sample of your DNA. Oh, don't worry, keep it very private. Meanwhile, it's all getting fed back to Facebook, and Facebook is selling it to China. How wonderful that is. The big worry, another warning, I've said it before. One biggest worry is that foreign states and the U.S. intel agencies will cooperate to cross-hack their own people in violation of any privacy ordinances or the Constitution by bypassing it. For instance, the U.S. government data sharing with the U.K. The U.K. then gathers data on U.S. citizens that our own spy agencies can't without a warrant, and then shares it back to the U.S. Meanwhile, the U.S. does that to the U.K.'s residents, again under the table, and then gives the data to them. We already have arrangements like this with several other nations. I can't remember the name of the specific NSA and FBI project, but years and years ago, it was revealed that we were sharing data in the most literal sense with the UK, I believe the UK, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, if I remember correctly. I know there were 5 nations involved. I know that Sweden and the UK were on that list. I can't remember the other 2. I think that it was Finland and Norway and Denmark. But I could be wrong. It could have been like Iceland, any of these other like Norse countries. But it happens, and it's concerning, and people should be enraged that this sort of thing happens. They should be extremely mad at Facebook right now. Instead, nobody's talking about it. Nobody gives a fuck. They sold user data to China. Literally, the Chinese government, through a firm that's been flagged by the FBI, the corrupted FBI itself, was honest enough to flag them as problematic. Zuckerberg didn't care. Hey, it's money's money. They're giving me $1 million won or whatever the fuck he made off of it. Yeah, I'll sell them data. Don't worry, so they can target ads on U.S. sites. So now they know a bunch of personal shit about people. Yeah, that's okay. I'm sure they're trustworthy. It's not like China's a competitor to the U.S. economy or anything. It's not like China would love to have a bunch of blackmail ability on, major figures within the United States. Oh, this person owns a business. It competes with ours. They sell a product similar to ours. We'll just leak some of their info. Yeah, we'll get them knocked off so their business goes bankrupt. Whoa! Guess who's going to step in to fill that vacuum? Yeah, when the first instance of something like that happens, all hell is going to break loose. Trust me. That's about all. Peace out.